Hello and welcome to the MAC Bowling Rules meeting. Due to COVID-19 this summer, we are all virtual and online, but we're still going to learn. We all hope that you are healthy and safe and that your families are taken care of. I'm LeAnna Dawson. I'm the Assistant Director of Activities at MHSAA, and part of my responsibilities include bowling. Okay, with me today is Coach Joey Blount from Neshoba Central. He serves as the MHSAA Bowling Liaison, and he is also Chairman of our MAC Bowling Committee. Other committee members include Wade McLemore from Cleveland Central High School, Dr. Kelly Summerall from Lafayette High School, and Michael Lee from Kossuth High School.
All right. As we go through our clinic today, we're going to have a slideshow, and obviously you can read, but we're going to go through some things and hopefully clarify as we go along. So we're going to start off with our times that we can begin. Our practice will begin on October the 12th. Any scrimmage that may be held is going to be October the 23rd, and then we have classics to be held on October the 29th. The first game of your season can be on November the 5th, and the season will end on January the 23rd. As we've had for the past several years, the maximum number of contests is 12, and the maximum number of contests per week is 2. Okay?
All right, now all of your student athletes need to be entered into Dragonfly. If you are a new bowling coach, please get with your athletic director or principal, and they will help you set up your Dragonfly account and tell you how to enter your student athletes. Tryouts, well, with COVID-19, we did not have them in May, so if you were not able to have tryouts in May, then you can also try out before the 3rd week in October. Generally, in a normal school year, we would have tryouts in May, and then your second tryout would be, if needed, the 3rd week in October. A tryout request form must be completed. That will also be entered into Dragonfly, and my immediate boss, Lonnie Tillman, is the one who approves all tryouts for our state. Now, as far as eligibility for bowling, the rules and regulations are the same across the board at MHSAA for all sports and activities. 7th and 8th graders may participate on your bowling team, but they must be entered into Dragonfly. One caveat that we would like to note is that athletes that do not participate at regionals in bowling for whatever reason, they can participate at the state tournament. However, these student athletes must be in Dragonfly, so make sure that they're in there before you go to regionals or state.
And LeAnna, I want to go a step further on that last one. What she's talking about there is that we've actually had children that were maybe suspended for whatever reason from their school during the regionals. And I know that sounds harsh to say, but yes, we're dealing with teenagers, and sometimes they get in trouble. And so we've had students that were disciplined at their school and not allowed to participate in the regionals, but were soon off of their suspension, and that student athlete is eligible to go on and participate in the state tournament. So just to give a little clarification, that's what that's talking about. All right, going on to our next slide, we've got that teams are restricted to regular season matches with schools. Teams are not, restricted to regular season matches with schools within their regions or class. In other words, you do not have to bowl your class. You can bowl anybody in the state that has a bowling team to get your 12 games in. You don't have to bowl against all regional members. You matter of fact, sometimes you may not even bowl against any of your regional members. I would like to do that as much as I can, but sometimes it's just not, the travel is too far. To meet the maximum 12 matches, you can use a combination. You can obviously have head-to-head matches, or you can have call-in matches during that time. And a call-in match, for some of you that are new people, a call-in match is simply where you contact a coach from another school and you say, hey, Tuesday at 4 o'clock we're going to bowl, And if you can bowl somewhere in that similar time frame, then that evening at 6 o'clock, we're gonna text our scores back and forth as we go, whatever, but we're gonna compare our scores through text message or emails or whatever. And so you can consider that as a match if your school has prohibited you from traveling. But there is a stipulation here that you must compete in at least 6 matches to be eligible to go to regionals. The reason for this is that we don't want people to feel like, well, I can have a travel league team and not even practice with my high school, but then at the end of the year I'm going to send a team to the regionals. That's not what we're about in competing in high school athletics. And so you need to compete in 6 matches, and again, those matches can be head-to-head or they can be call-in matches.
And if you've never participated in a call-in match with budget restrictions that are obviously going to occur this year, that may be something that you want to discuss as a possibility with your AD so that your school can still get matches in. Now, our regional tournament at this moment is scheduled. They will be between January 25th and end February 3rd. We have to allow for time in case there's inclement weather in the winter, and also for cutting checks and reserving the buses that needed. If you would like to host a regional tournament, schools submit bids to myself, and on the PowerPoint you see my email address there. Bids should be submitted between December 7th, that week, December 7th through the 11th. Generally, you're going to put it on a school letterhead. That way we know that the AD and the principal are aware that you're obligating the school to hosting the event. We also require a letter from the bowling center so that we know that they're on board with having the event. And some people do put in if there's plenty of parking, and what kind of amenities and restaurants are around for schools that must travel, so that they have options. The regional sites will be announced the week of December 14th.
Okay. All right. The state tournament this year is scheduled for February the 10th, 11th, and 12th. We will be having it again at Metro 24 in Jackson. And as we've done the past several years, we rotate classes. So this year, Class 1 will compete on the first day, Class 2 on the second day, and Class 3 on the third day. And so that will be the Class 1 on the 10th, Class 2 on the 11th, and Class 3 on the 12th. All right. Dress code is our next slide. And folks, I was a principal for 14 years, and dress code was one of the things I hated to deal with most, and I'll just be honest with you. There is a specific guideline of how students are to dress when they come to a bowling match. Every sport that we play, the uniforms are the same. When one student does not wear their uniform differently than the other. So this is one of those things that it's a common sense deal where we want our coaches to make sure that their group is dressed alike. Now that means doesn't mean that if one tucks their shirt in, everybody's got to tuck their shirt in. But we need to have the same uniform, and as closely as we can, we need to wear it the same way. This has gotten to be a problem. As you know, that there's always someone that wants to push the limits. So let's, as coaches, let's be the one that step up and not have another coach have to complain because you're not following the guidelines. Okay, so obviously the dress code there on that slide, team members must be dressed alike. No electronics or cell phones or earbuds. This is also a problem because I could not imagine when I coached football looking around at one of my football players having a cell phone on the sideline talking on it. But obviously in bowling we're in a little different situation, and we have had that. So please tell your children to put their phones up during the match. All right, now we got a couple of rules here as far as the actual bowling. There's an update from the National Bowling here. Due to the corona concerns, we have told you before that once the match starts, you cannot clean the bowling ball. And that is still true. You cannot use cleaner like that purple stuff or some other kind of type of cleaner that your children may use to clean their bowling ball. They cannot use that cleaner on it once the match starts. Now, during practice time, a player can alter their ball by cleaning it. But once the first frame starts, a dry rag only is to be used. Now, the change with the COVID-19 is that they may be cleaned with rubbing alcohol. And we know that rubbing alcohol is a type of cleaner that people have used on their bowling balls before. But it's not so much the reason given for a cleaner, but it's given because of the ability to kill germs and things like that on our equipment. So rubbing alcohol can be used to wipe a ball down during a match during this time. All right, here's the big change that's coming from the USBC. When throwing a bowling ball, bowlers must fill all holes for each throw. All of us have heard that we can't have weight holes in our bowling balls this time. But beyond that, if you've got a ball drilled with 3 holes in it, you got to put 3 fingers in it. And I have seen, and I have a child on my own team that throws with 2 hands, and he'll put his 2 fingers in it and not his thumb, and he'll throw it. But then there's some bowlers that take that same exact ball and put all 3 fingers in it and throw it for a spare shot. Well, the rule is this year, if it has a hole in it, you must put a finger in it on every throw. You cannot throw it 2-hand styled without the thumb one time and turn around and put your thumb in it and throw that same ball for spare. They'll have to have other ball, separate ball for spare, or learn to throw it with their fingers in all the holes. So they can have that hole plugged. If they've already got a ball and they're not using the thumb hole, they can have that thumb hole plugged. But if it has an open hole in it, you must put a finger in it. And that's a change coming this year. Okay?
All right, as far as the ground rules for our regional and state tournaments, they're going to be the same as last year. If there is a change from the national level, Coach Blount and I will be sure and make you aware of that. Also, for the new coaches, prior to the regional and state tournaments, my office will send out a reminder of regional and state tournament rules. And for veteran coaches who may not have theirs, you will also receive that. If you have any questions about bowling, you're welcome to reach out to us. I'm available at any time, and if there's other questions concerning MHSAA, if I am not in charge of that area, I can direct you to that person. We at MHSAA are here to help you and make that transition easier. And Coach Blount and I enjoy working together, and we are glad that we're continuing to elevate bowling in the state and make it a better sport and a better experience for our student athletes.
Well, we understand that this is probably not have not covered every question that you might have. Obviously, as LeAnna says, you can contact her, or you can contact me also. I'm at Neshoba Central, or you can get my number from LeAnna and call me. And we wish everybody has a great season and good luck and good bowling.